I'm ready.
Oh, we are back for another episode. Happy Sunday, fellas. Happy
Sunday.
Sunday. How
What's
are
up?
you?
What's up?
Good.
Doing all right,
Good?
man. Long week.
Sure.
It's been a long week being a black
Long
man.
week.
Let me say that. Can I say that? I'm going to say that.
Long
It's
week.
been a long week being a black man, but we are back. We are back. Welcome to another episode of CorNbReaD Vodcast, where
Yes.
you will get connected to some of this salty, sweet, and right on time cornbread for your mind. We welcome you back this week. We have a very, very, very poignant topic tonight that we wanted to jump on, titled Surviving the Stereotypes as Black Men. It's heavy, but we got to talk about it. We wouldn't be us if we don't really connect reality to what's going on in the world right now. You know, it's like we have to watch these things. We have to fight against these things. We have to identify with these things because we're black men, period. We don't get an exit, get out of jail free card or collect $200 when we pass go. We just get reminded every day about, you know, how we have to work through this thing and just try to make tomorrow better for ourselves and those that's coming behind us. So that's the topic for tonight. Before we get into it, I want to ask our viewers, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so by hitting the subscribe button below.
Subscribe.
We stay on this journey with us every week. We are giving of ourselves and our time to really bring our expertise as black men, but more importantly, that conscious equity to the realities or the relatability of how we share this content based on our experiences. But we feel that we're not alone in this world. We know people are going through what we're going through as a collective, but individually. So definitely subscribe. If you're not following us yet on Facebook or Instagram, please do so at Eat CorNbReaD. Eat More CorNbReaD. I'm sorry. That's at Eat More CorNbReaD on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, get me together, Ash. I'm tripping, right? I'm tripping. And so definitely follow us on that. You can also subscribe to us on our website at eatmorecornbread.com. And definitely, we've been getting some great feedback over the last couple of episodes. So please keep that pouring in. We cannot appreciate you guys enough for letting us know how you feel, how the episodes impact you. So if you want to connect with us directly, you can do so by shooting us an email with your feedback at our website. Again, eatmorecornbread.com. There's some nice widgets and tabs there. You don't have to think. Just hit feedback, episode, leave it. Or you can shoot us an email directly at thatgoodcornbread@gmail.com. Again, this exchange is not one-sided. We want to hear from you. We want to stay connected to you as well. We want to know if what we're giving you every week is even impactful to you or not. That matters to us, to let us know how we need to make sure that what we're bringing of our time and energy and effort is connective. And if it's not, then we got to get up off this. All right. So again, welcome back. So I want to get into it, fellas. Surviving stereotypes. Like, I'm gonna take another breath and another breath and another breath because
it's weak.
You know, man. I'm in my 30s and I just honor life so much for allowing me to be in this space to see 30 something years old, man, when the narratives, as we all know, we've been talking about in past episodes, has not always been favorable. You know, the episodes of survival has not always been in our favor. You know, any blank movement, decision, or non-decision could have really ended our track. And the fact that, you know, I'm able to sit here as a black man, as a whole black man, as an educated black man, as a blessed black man, as a flawed black man, as a family black man, you know, to have all of those things that I can stand and be proud of in my life to this day is a blessing. And I don't take that lightly. So it's only befitting that we get into the narratives around, you know, what it means to survive stereotypes as black men. And I wanted to give the narrative in the introduction, but I'm going to open it up to you fellas because, you know, we already know our walks, you know, to get to this point of even being able to connect on CorNbReaD. But I just wanted to pose a question, you know, one, what is surviving as a black man? Let's take the stereotype out altogether. What is that look like to survive as a black man? And I guess a black man in general or a black man in America? I got to give those two dichotomies when we ask that question. So let's take the part about just being a black man surviving. What does that mean? What is the depth of that based on life experience?
Surviving as a black man today, any day, bro. Honestly, is
today.
It's a heavy lift. It's been a heavy lift for quite some time since I stay in America. It's been a heavy lift of surviving as a Black man, and today has proven no different. And with all that is going on in our country and the unrest, and it is proven that it has nothing, honestly, even to do with just administration. You go figure, right? Things are still going on, right? And there's still so much unrest and fear and violence that we as a Black man have to face in our own backyard, right? In our own front lawn, in our own grocery store, in our own car, right? Anywhere that we go, in our own skin, that we're facing this impending danger of, honestly, of just a target on our back. And so surviving as a Black man is our reality. It is our reality today.
I got a follow-up question, but I got to sit in there for a second because, and I have to smile about it still, right? And still find humor in the fact of that's very sad and depressing. Mm-hmm. We have to work around that reality with humor, with hobbies, with prayer, mm-hmm. Just to take our mind off the fact that it is dauntingly depressing to have to literally survive as a Black man still in this country when you strive for all the things that are told to us are supposed to elevate us in being a viable member of society, right? While you're still trying to identify with the reality of the space that you're in, and the second question I ask is, what are some of those stereotypes that we've all had to deal with to get to today, let alone, beyond today? What's been some of the things, Ash, have you actually navigated through based on stereotypes?
The stereotypes, I mean, for me, and it comes from so many different lenses. Like I don't look nothing like the boxes I'm supposed to be in. Like I'm a whole pastor, but look at my hair. I got a nose ring. I preach in jean jackets.
That a whole pastor.
I'm a whole pastor. So like
of today.
Like, I grew up in traditional Baptist church, so, where we wear suits and robes and things of that nature, but look at me now, so, but at the same token, so I don't fit in the box that most people would put me in. Actually, and I take pride in that, I take joy in that, of being able to express the courage of being able to express individuality of who I am, and may look like some Joe Blow off the street, but will preach, pray, and prophesy you up down the street, right? That can pray a devil out your house, right? But giving you and introducing a new package, and honestly, I thoroughly enjoy. Actually,
the man said he could pray a devil out your house.
He said that. I enjoyed that because he meant that, right?
And I meant that, right? But that's what I mean, to be a covering, to be a source of power, and to show brevity of that, right? Not only just in the realm of Christendom, but also from a professional standpoint, being an entrepreneur, being able to stand up and lead trainings in a professional environment with cornrows, with locks, with short hair, whatever I feel like choosing, right? Honestly, and still being able to command the respect, right, of the room and of the arena. And I have been graced and able to be able to walk in that light. And it's something that I have had to learn mentally how to get in that lane, in that space, and move. There's sometimes when I'm walking, like honestly, when I went to close in my house, I walked in the building to close in my house, hair pulled up. I mean, I look neat. I thought I looked great, right? And a lady, Caucasian lady, walking around, but turn around, looking at me like I'm in the wrong place, and look right back in her face. Hello, praising God, right? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Thank you. I'm going to go close on what God's called me to do. But standing in that confidence, like you may look at me all you want, but while you're looking, let me give you a show, right? Let me give you something to look at, right? Because I'm moving. But being able to have that confidence, being able to kind of have that kind of lens of focus that says that just because you put me in this space doesn't mean I have to play that space, play that part, play that role, tap, dance, or shuck and jive for you. Right? I don't have to be in that space, but I can create my own lane of space, and I'm not going to let anything prevent me from being in that space and being authentically myself, no matter what the trauma or the violence I may experience.
What about you, Kurt?
Oh God. Stereotypes, man. They
Take your time, brother. Take your time. Take your time.
it's just because of how I understand stereotypes. They actually don't have anything to do with me individually, because a stereotype will a person who follows that'll look at a person, look at me, and see evidence to the contrary of that stereotype, and they'll still keep the stereotype. So this just hasn't have anything to do with me. It's really a perception that that person has on people who look like me. So when I attack it that way, all I'm really doing is making sure I'm representing me to the fullest. Maybe it adheres to a stereotype or maybe not. I got to be true to myself. That way it's sustainable. And more often than not, my behaviors present something that is contrary to the stereotype. You know, we can talk about individual stereotypes and things like that. I've been a thug, all the stuff, all the things, right? In LA, I was the nerd. When I moved to Orange County, I was the gang member. It's crazy how, you know, that society will tell you what you should be, and at every stage they were wrong. Because in LA, I had to defend myself physically. Sometimes they didn't expect that from a nerd, and in Orange County, I had to defend myself verbally in a way that suppressed any notion that I could handle myself in any way other than violence. I don't have to. It doesn't have to be violence. So I guess my experience is I'm supposed to challenge all of these stereotypes because they're wrong, and it's easy for me because my general nature is it's not that. I'll show you if you pay attention. And if you don't pay attention, you got a special kind of mind that can look at some evidence and say, no, that's not what it is. It's this stereotype that I heard vaguely about this whole group of people. I'm gonna chop stereotypes down today, son, because we have whole notions on a whole group of people. We talked about how we don't have complete knowledge, but I'm going to say in generalize a whole group. That's where I'm gonna stop. So this is what we talk about today. This is what we going today. It's a good day for this. I got time for this today.
We all got time. We're black men, and this is about black men and stereotypes. You know, I'll chime in a little bit. You know, I'm from the South originally, and it's one of those things that, you know, in the South, the minute you as a black man assert yourself as desiring to be educated and or desiring to start curating systems that put you in pathways for creating betterment for your life, it goes against all the things that the South is supposed to represent, which are stereotypes within themselves, which is oppression, particularly if you're black, oppression, poverty, low income, etc. Even within race, right? I've experienced, like, you know, growing up, you know, aspiring, you know, to go to college and so forth, and having these conversations and then emulating my reality of what I was doing versus what the stereotype may perceive or give off me doing. You know, the whole cliche around like, oh, you talk white or you're acting white or XYZ, when, you know, I'm thinking I'm acting like a college student. You know, I'm thinking I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing as far as I'm here to get an education. I'm supposed to be doing these things because I'm trying to develop. But it's the narratives that I think, as you talked about, Kurt, it's ill-informed. You know, it's like sight reading, right? It's trying to sight read what that perspective is. You don't have the fluidity of really understanding what the connective points are. So you build the narrative instead of actually
bias. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. Instead of actually engaging with the author, right, and getting some footnotes or some cliff notes, you know, from that author about what is actually happening. I think we see that more so than not as Black men, just for 1,000 reasons, and all of it is not bad. You know, that Southern, my upbringing and going through that in the South, that still built me in a great way, because like you, Ashley, I got off on that kind of stuff. Like, you know, I'm going to show you what you think it is and where it's going. So I'm going to align with you. And if you're thinking that this is X, Y, Z, and this is emulation of X, I'm trying to be this and be that and X, I'm going to let you have that for the moment, for that season, because again, when the outcome comes, you'll see the why. And then I probably would have moved on from that, and you're still figuring out the how. You know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of that within race sometimes. And I think that's why I got into like the work that I do, just to kind of help people peel back some of the layers to understand kind of the foundational story of how to chart yourself and work with the stereotype. Because again, some of it isn't bad. You know, I was visiting a client out in Maine a couple of weeks back, and I got off the flight And the person that was meeting me there to pick me up, you know, she told me, she's a Caucasian lady, you know, maybe it's a thing, I don't know. She said to me, you know, I thought you were one of the students, you know, because I'm dressed comfortably. I got on my joggers, you know, I got on my hat and my coat or whatever, my hoodie. And she was just like, I heard her over talking with one of her colleagues about, she didn't know it was me because she thought I was a student because how I looked comfortably. And I actually applauded that in terms of reminding myself how great it is to still be taken as you are and not having to alter or alternate or exchange anything. She got to meet me that way, and she still had to cater to me throughout my whole time there, even though she had the depiction of what she saw when I got off the flight, you know. And I did have some costume changes throughout the rest of the week, right? But she met me comfortable. She met me comfortable because I didn't want her to get it twisted. I came here for business. I'm gonna meet you where you are, but I want to let you meet me as well where I was. And I think it's those lessons that we run away from when we're trying to honor someone else's depiction of us as Black men instead of standing in our truth. I'm not saying stand in your truth and just be like delusionally crazy with it, like painting the wrong lane for yourself, trying to build up a stereotype that's not you, right? Because that's a whole nother thing. But being able to operate in what you believe as your authenticity, help curate that space and honor it for you first, and then share it with the world if you so choose to. Because again, it is still your choice at the end of the day. You know, I would say I would let you create the narrative and believe the story you give yourself, then to give you access to me. If I so choose not to, you know. I want to shift real quick though and talk about what has been some of the stereotypes you think Black men have had to deal with the most. No, perfect timing. Look at that. Let's go there, right? Let's go there. I think we were chatting up before we got on tonight, and I made the notion. Funny that you brought this up, Kurt. It's funny that you got into this space because I personally feel that as a Black man in the two Americas, let's shift to that real quick. As a Black man in the two Americas,
keep this on for the rest. It's hot, but I'm gonna keep this on. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
because I know what I look like. I know what this look like.
That's literally the alter ego I have to operate in because of what's put on me as a Black man in this country. Whether I believe that or not, I have to always chip my own shoulder to make sure I make it home. I'm not depicted as someone who just jacked the liquor store. I'm not depicted as someone who just stole a car. I'm not depicted as someone fitting the description.
He's not trying to fit a description. Oh,
right. It puts me on the edge to maybe channel some of that actually. Like I turn into that guy when I leave my house, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I leave my house, I become him because I feel like that's how I'm going to be treated anyway. And that's just in general in life, not even with the climate of like just by police officers. I feel like the depiction about me being Black in this country, regardless of who I am, regardless of my accolades, regardless of my mindset, how I've developed myself, that is the depiction that's accepted about me being a Black man. Regardless of if you get any more notion about the stereotype being true or not. You see the adversary versus the collaborator.
I think the image of a Black man in a ski mask promotes a whole lot of fear for no reason. I'm cold. That's all. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with my mindset. I'm sorry for the kids. They get it popping down there. But
it's real life. You good?
Yeah, no, they
hold that
on there.
See, hold
that. You see this ski mask? You can't see that, right? You can't see that my wife and my two kids are downstairs right now. You can't see that in this house. It's hella degrees. You can't see that, right? But what you do see is the fear that me having just this mask on, clouding up my face, it just provokes that. What if I put on glasses though? What if I put on my? Do I still look scary?
You 2% less threatening, but I feel like you still up to no good though.
See my glasses. They're here's the thing. And let's get real. I'm gonna take this off. Here's the thing, right? So, Hip, you said something. I think we only got like 10 minutes. You said something that was clear, right? You got some costume changes. Like all of those things are to present yourself in a light. And then there are stereotypes that says it doesn't matter what Hip individually does. there is a collective understanding from other folks about us. I can see you or Ash or any other brother walking with a ski mask on. I'm not gonna get intimidated by that. They probably, cold.
Right.
That's why people wear ski masks. For some reason, it's been so corrupted to think that when we wear a ski mask, we up to no good. It's so stupid. It is so short-sighted. And the folks who maintain those thoughts, they are trying to perpetuate that notion so that we individually feel like we must behave that way in order for to fit in. Because when we don't, we get called things like the nerd, you're not doing this right, you talk right, all of those things that Hip said, because those are things that a person who hasn't moved out of their comfort zone, they're going to say those things so that they stay in that comfort zone, even if all of the evidence is to the contrary. Even though you can see me walking down the street, if you say 3 words to me, you'll understand that it's probably not this worst case scenario that you think. I'm not here to hurt anybody. None of us are. We all here actually just surviving. And yep, they're making this fear up and putting us in this place. And then some points of violence go ahead and confirm and validate that for you. And then it becomes a whole identity for a whole people. It's so short-sighted because, again, we've talked about this. You don't have all of the information. Your stereotype is so misguided and so short-sighted and so ill-informed that we need to let them go now. Yeah. And we stand as testaments against those. I put a ski mask on, but it didn't take away my degrees. It didn't take away my family. It didn't take away these taxes I pay. It didn't take away this mortgage. Nothing changed, except somebody probably got triggered in the fear because somebody else told them, hey, ski mask on brown people was scary. It wasn't that scary. I was still sitting right here in my home on a computer. Somebody got triggered and scared.
That's right. Because you can be in your home with your ski mask and you still be a threat, bro.
Like, I can be in my home, sleep and get shot, bro. This is the America we live in. They're so afraid of us. They shoot us when we sleep. I think I think the cowardice that they have shows the power in us. We don't even have to do nothing. But what that means is we have to live in a way that shows our true self. We have to live in a way that shows the gamut of all of our beings, all of our behaviors, so that the stereotype simply can't exist in the world what people think. There's so much evidence to the contrary that we are all not this. So give us the benefit of the doubt. And if you don't, you're going to look silly because we're going to perpetuate and grow anyway. This topic triggers me because I moved from an all black place to an all white place to another all black place. And every single time there are stereotypes from each way, from us, from them. I'm supposed to behave a way. Every time they're wrong. And I love it. Be wrong. Go ahead, have your stereotype. Spend some time with me and see how wrong you are.
Well,
I don't know. What do you think, Brother Ash? I think, man, this stereotype thing is all about appearances and then kind of like generalizing the appearance of things. By nature, that's superficial. By nature, is flawed. I'm thinking, man, I can't.
Listen, I'm literally about to preach a message about this actual issue. Right. This is not, first and foremost, let's be honest, okay, that this is not a new issue. There's nothing new under the sun. Right. The fact that people have been making distinctions based upon appearances has been happening for a long time. Right. I'm reminded just quickly, even when God had to have a conversation with Samuel when he was going to anoint David as king, and told him, don't look on the outward appearance. Man looks at the outward appearance. I look at the heart. Right. Man has always had an issue of measuring people and their value based upon the outward experience, right, and the outward appearance. You're ready to preach a whole message about this, about the sin of partiality. That's what it is, right? Of you making distinctions based upon the evil thoughts in your head that this group is better than this group because of based on how they dress, how they act, how they live, and so many different lenses, right? You know, as we are focused specifically on the African-American male, the Black man, his experience, right? And many have made distinctions based upon short-sighted things, right? And so this is what the issue is. It's so shallow, right? You know nothing about a person, nothing about the value, who they are, a person who's made in, even in the image of God, right? You have shortchanged all of that, that can add value to your human experience based upon what? What is it, right?
Yeah.
Something you made up, right? Fears, false evidence appearing real, right? That's what you made it up.
Message. Man, them sounds coming. That's man, the fear. I think we talked about that whole thing the last time. This fear of growing and understanding, right? it takes some effort. It tells your mind, says, hey, this way of thinking can't exist anymore. We're gonna have to get some new information. And the new information is brothers ain't trying to kill you and rob you and jack your car like that. We that still occurs, and it occurs in all of the communities. It's not just us. So the worst aspects of our society, they're not confined to just us. But somehow, this land says if it's wrong in particular ways, violence, if it involves stuff like that, it is us. And then if it's some kind of white collar crime like stock trade and things like that, it's not us, it's them. Because apparently we're not sophisticated enough to do those kind of things. Wrong. we've done all of that, and we've built countries, and we built nations, and we've done so many things that the first thing we need to do is understand that we are not the stereotype. They're wrong, not us. It is not our problem that they have this stereotype of look, because what it does is it limits their exposure to us. Maybe it blocks some opportunities away from us, but we can still grow and learn. But what it's actually doing over time is limiting the way that they will interact with us, limiting the way that they will grow, because we don't have to grow in an understanding. Our understanding isn't flawed in the sense that we have that stereotype of us. We know better. They don't yet. And that's really the spaces that we're in. They don't know better because they haven't tried. They haven't moved out of their comfort zone yet. So they're going to stay there until some external force says, or kicks them swiftly enough or hard enough, or they run into a wall and hit it hard enough to say, this way that I'm thinking is causing problems. It's not true. I'm making decisions on information that's not complete, and the outcomes are not the way that I want them to be. And that's when we start challenging ourselves and stuff. But, when you got an entitled place of a land, you're probably not going to challenge your thought. You probably think you're right regardless. You probably think that, nah, that's not, you just acting white, not acting right. So they're wrong. They'll figure it out, or you left.
You guys spoke truth to power. And I think, we're getting ready to wrap up, but I wanted to just kind of say stereotypes, particularly towards Black men, are tied to institutional thought. I look forward to the future where, my son, even my daughter, are able to really live in some type of harmony where their intention of survival is not based on, the color of their skin, but more importantly, their aspirations, the things that mean something to them. And that's really the vibe for the universe. The vibe for the universe is white, black, green, purple, blue. Everybody's out here trying to find their utopian self, and just connecting with the airwaves. And it sounds flower childy, but I think what else is there to do while we're alive on this earth besides hate each other, besides corrupt each other, besides, deplete each other, And I think those of us who try to find ways to vibe out, that's all we're trying to do is get an escape in this era, But I do long for the day when it's normal to just vibe out in life. Everybody's on the wave, right? That's kind of like the world I see, maybe 100 years from now. My kids and my grandkids can really think about this time period where we had that there was tension, and tension for no reason, because it's based literally on old institutional thought that are still being authored just to kind of give onus of being fearful about changing, right? I would say even other races who have built into that institution, it's fearful to change and see something different from what you've been institutionally groomed with. So we could be here all night, but let's get into the crumbs. I'll kick us off. I just want to say, do not subscribe to any one narrative other than your own that you are developing and building every day. Stereotypes are just that, as my man Kurt said. They're labels and depictions and screenshots of people trying to put together instances of a picture of your platform or your canvas, and it's foggy. It is not all there because you have now allowed that person access to you. And that's you owning your power of realizing that you do not have to describe to narratives or stereotypes, but continue to author those spaces that you want to exist in and let everybody else catch the manuscript on the fly.
I'm gonna go ahead. I want Kurt to close this out because he on one today. What I want to say first and foremost, I want to say my name is Ashley Harris and I am a survivor. I wish I could tell you the secret of surviving. But I have news for you. There is no secret, because unfortunately, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, but someone listening to my sound of my voice may become the next victim, unfortunately. But what I can tell you is that we can give them something to look at, right? As Doc has said, do not allow someone's fear, someone's preconceived notion, someone's false evidence become a reality in your life. But you can achieve more. And someone has decided that they were going to set the bar lower of their existence, and you don't need to do that anymore based upon what someone else has said. Live higher, be higher, show them greater.
I gotta give it to you.
I'm gonna snap on that one too.
Oh, yeah.
I probably should close it.
Close us out, Kurt.
Man, with just a minute left, I want to say again, the stereotypes that exist, they are other people's thoughts on us, right? We have control over that only if a person is open to it, which means they can have a thought and be hardened to it, and no matter how much we try, they're not going to change their mind. So we don't have to change their mind. We just have to understand where they're coming from, understand how we fit there, and decide whether or not that's something that we accept. This person thinks I'm a killer. I'm not a killer. Do I accept that or not? I can brush it off, or I can take responsibility and duty for representing my people and show them something different. I could take this effort and say, you're wrong, and I understand where you're coming from because I've seen those movies too. That's probably where you're getting a lot of your information from, but that's not real life. Real life is we are men, we are fathers, we are brothers, we are sons. We go to church, we pray, we cry, we hurt, we bleed, just like everyone else. And anytime they say that we're something else, they're trying to dehumanize us, because what that does is separates us. They want us to think we are on our own. The gifted, they want you to think that you're on your own, because if you're on your own, they can take you down. But we are not. We are all together, and we are all representations of this gamut of excellence in Blackness, and we go show them. And it's happening. It's happening. We can see they're getting afraid. This turmoil is getting tumultuous because they're getting afraid. And we go get better at representing ourselves, and they go learn. So that's the crown.
Brother. Thank y'all. That's our show.